Today on the Topic Show, Daily Wire vs. Louder Crowder 2.0. Homer won't choke Bart anymore after the Simpsons cancel themselves yet again. Vivek reveals a no to neocons pledge. Ron DeSantis gets the Iowa governor's endorsement but is still roasted online. Rivian Q3 results are in and sales are up, while Lucid Q3 results are in and they are down. And GM temporarily puts the brakes on their driverless vehicle. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of Topping Show is sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller service company with a special preference in IT security. Heck, I see their founder released twice today. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of November, so if you could click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Rivian Q3 results are in, and revenue is up 143% year over year to racking it up to $1.32 billion. Now, this comes to us thanks to Yahoo Finance, and actually helped their stock boost a little bit by a mere 3% at the news of this. In regards to a production standpoint, they said that Rivian increased their full year forecast to 54,000 vehicles from 52,000 vehicles. Its prior forecast was 52,000 units, was lifted earlier in the year from 50,000. And when asked for comment, they said, quote, due to the progress experienced on our production lines, the ramp up of our in-house motor line, and the supply chain outlook, we are increasing our 2023 production guidance to 54,000 units, unquote. And that was in the Q3 shareholders newsletter. Now, Rivian also narrowed its full year adjusted earnings before income tax deductible EBITDA lost to $4 billion from $4.2 billion, and revealed that its 2023 capex guidance was reduced to $1.1 billion. Now they continue to say that Rivian is no longer subject to the exclusivity, selling its electric delivery vehicle van to Amazon, which is one of the important shareholders for Rivian. Though Rivian did say that they still plan to build about 100,000 delivery vans for Amazon, which is quite a few vans per their earlier agreement. Now, Amazon waiving off the exclusivity clause creates a, quote, a key upside potential to unlock EDV vans from only being 20 to 35,000 deliveries per year to its 60 plus K capacity per year. So it'll be interesting to see how many companies want to have the same exact delivery van that Amazon has. I almost wonder if that was a sunset clause of the contract, or if that is something where Amazon let them off the hook. But I think a lot of people might contribute that to be a competitive advantage for Amazon, since for short-term delivery, as long as you don't care about the long-term ROI in terms of the vehicle lasting over 100,000 miles, an EV delivery van might make sense. So it'll be interesting to see if the competitors, if you have something like FedEx or UPS for deliveries, if they start to tap Rivian on the shoulder and say, hey, why don't we just buy our trucks from you? Or trucks, I say trucks, I really mean vans. Now, in terms of the fiscals, for the quarter, Rivian posted a revenue of $1.34 billion versus the $1.31 expected, while the adjusted loss per share is at $1.19 versus the $1.32 expected. They know that the revenue figure represents a 19.6% jump from Q2's $1.12 billion and 150% more than the $536 million reported a year ago. On an adjusted EBITDA basis, Rivian reported a loss of $942 million versus the $1.04 expected billion, which also narrower than the $1.3 billion loss a year ago. So slowly but surely, it looks as if the company is starting to get to the point in which they will eventually get to a profitability point, which, again, in terms of EVs and productions, it's the volume. You just have to get up to the volume, get the price point down for the components so you can buy things in bulk. There are a lot of factors that will help them get to that profitability point. And even though the U.S. adoption rate of EVs is decreasing, it'll be interesting to see if Rivian is able to get to that profitability point, or what the consumers are starting to drift towards. They were certainly the first big company to market in terms of a EV truck that people could buy. That really put Rivian on the map for a lot of folks. And then subsequently, the Ford F-150 Lightning, and the 18 people who bought that were surely happy for the day they used it before they tried to tow something. They were, of course, subsequently disappointed. And then, I mean, GM will come out with the Chevy Silverado EV someday, sometime. So it'll be interesting to see, I mean, what's the remainder of the market share? And then, of course, the Cybertruck will come out sometime, eventually, in theory. So it'll be interesting to see, of the remaining people who want an EV truck, how many of them really are there left in the market? I mean, especially for trucks, I'm always a little bit more skeptical for the EV adoption. I mean, trucks are like sports ball teams. Majority of the time, every time I'm talking to someone, why do they choose the brand truck they have with the engine configuration, what have you? And more often than not, it's just because their dad had the same brand, their grandpa had the same brand. It's a huge part of their personality. It is a huge enthusiasm around the brand. It has a huge cult following. So it'll be interesting to see how many of those legacy truck fans and how many of the truck buyers will adopt the EVs. It'll be interesting to see. Let me know in the comments, would you ever buy an EV truck? And if so, why? You certainly don't tow anything more than perhaps, I'm trying to think, a bale of packing peanuts, perhaps, would be a good use case in which you could actually tow something with an EV truck for a long distance. It'd be interesting, but let me know in the comments, what's your use case of why you would buy one? Thank you everyone for taking time to tune in today, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of November. So if you can click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a comment is a great way to help me know what I need to improve on in terms of slowing down my rate of speech, as well as working on my enunciation and decreasing my stuttering. Again, clicking the button may very well cure those things. It'll be interesting to see, but time shall tell. And lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.